Yeah, welcome to my YouTube channel. This is a follow on to a topic that we have started, more like a series on fastest routes to Canada. The aim of this series is to provide quality materials, very easily, very easily understood material, well explained. Uh, having from experience, having gathered so many difficulties that people encounter, and one of the major reasons that I've also noticed that people don't even know where to start their application from. Some people spend thousands of dollars to representatives and they don't even get to see anything. So I have walked through the process of getting permanent resident by myself, right? And I thought it's time to put that knowledge out there for people to follow through. That's the essence of my teaching. So I've started a video on overview and guide on the Saskatchewan Immigrant Nominee Program. You can watch that video in the link there or in my description page so that you can get a full grasp of the entire program. So the essence is once you are able to track this episode, there are about 6 episodes that are connected. You are able to follow through. Some of them are to prepare you for documentation. Some are to arrange to guide you on how to fill forms, how to go into the application and fill well detailed videos. Please look out for them and then be able to go. However, in this episode, we'll be looking at language ability. Now, your first, there are 2 languages, where French or English, so you need to pick any one there. So in this episode, we'll be looking strictly into how do you get to write your language test, what score should you aim, and then how do you convert those language tests to Canadian language benchmark CLP, and how do you obtain your score. Please do not forget to subscribe my YouTube channel to encourage us to produce more video. And I know you can do this. I did it myself. You can do it as well. Start to finish without without assistance of anyone. So if you follow through this video, you would be following the methods that I use, and I had no delay at all in terms of documentation or cancellation or drawback. It was a smooth sailing from beginning to the end. So please let's delve in, and then we'll go through it. Thank you. See you there. Okay, so let's get to this, and we look into the language side as a subset of the series on fastest route to Canada. This is language ability as part of the grid, the assessment grid. We have the education, training, skilled work experience, and then we have the language ability. Today, we want to focus on that. As I said earlier on. So, uh, what then are we supposed to know about this, and how do we target it? If you want to go through this process, right, and it's also useful for the expert entry pool. So, how do you target the score? How do you target the score so that you can aim to get higher? For language ability test for your first language, this is like IELTS, for example. If you get an equivalent, now this LB is a standard, whether you are doing IELTS, CLPIP, or TEF scores, there's a standard that you need to meet in order to get these scores. Now, the equivalent, so what I'm going to teach today again is to now show you how to get this equivalent in any of the languages that you chose to write, right? And I'll also give a calculator on how to do that. So this language test now, you see, CLB 8 and higher, which you will score 20, CLB 7, 18, CLB 6, 16. That's Canadian language benchmark, right? That's the one of the CLB. 14, in that order, you could see that they are reducing by 2. So how do you aim to get there higher? Um, there are many things you can focus on. Uh, if you go on YouTube, there are loads of teachers of these languages free that you can begin to listen to. They will prep you on each of the requirements, for example, writing, reading, speaking, and you would be able to learn more tactics on how to pass them. Just in case you've written before you failed, you have to write again. Sometimes you write once, twice. Don't be scared. You can write once and you get a good score. But sometimes you get a score, but you want to improve your chances, you go for a higher score. But for this provincial nomination, the least CLB 4 is acceptable for occupation in demand. If you followed my initial overview and step to step by step guide on the Saskatchewan Immigrant Nominee Program, you would have seen that CLB is good for, I mean, is acceptable for occupation in demand, which is the non-express entry program in Saskatchewan. However, for the express entry angle, you need to score above this in order to earn a score in the pool. Now, for this purpose of what we're looking at here, this is SIMP eligibility and the grid for SIMP, SIMP. So now, how do you get this equivalent? What do you need to score? How do you combine those four test areas in order to achieve this score? Well, let's quickly go into that. We'll still get it here. The How do we really navigate our way to now see how we can score higher in this? So we have, thank you. So this is the equivalent chart. Now, this is for IELTS general training. I mentioned in my first video, the episode 1, to say that you need to get general training. Mind you, there are two types of IELTS. The other one is the specialized one, which is for like education side. This is the general training. This one is just for immigration. If you do the other kind of IELTS, they would not accept it for immigration. Please take note. Now, CLB level, which is 10, right? The level 10 means if you score 8.0 in reading, 7.5 in writing, 8.5 in listening, 7.5 in speaking, whether English or French, is the same requirement. So these are the combinations that you get. You see, sometimes it plays funny. You can get 8.5 in reading. That's the highest you can claim there is this 8. If you get above 8 in reading, it does not give you any score, right? It's not an addition. So sometimes you see people getting higher score. I think now is the highest. You get 8.5 here, and then maybe you now get 6.5 here. You see that where you will claim your score will be lower. So because you will need to look at how you can meet all of them, right, at where they are. So if you meet 8 here, you meet 8.5, 8 here, you are still okay. You can claim here. And you meet 8.5 here, you can claim here. You meet 7.5 here, you can claim here. But if you meet 8 here, you scored 8 here, you score 7.5 here, you now score 7 or 7.5 or even 8 here, you cannot claim from this. You have to come to where 8 is the maximum for you to get a score here. Maybe minimum in this sense, right? So now that's how you combine your score. Many people struggle around, how do I know where my score fall in? That's how it's being calculated. So for example, you see what people get. Sometimes you meet all of these parameter, and then this one you just score low, or you come to listening 8.5 and you score lower there. And then it will push you to the next rank immediately. So you need to target. Maybe if you target this, you can imagine that somebody got this days, and when he came here, he got 7.5. Apparently, you know that it moves you to the lower level. That's how it runs. It's a clear measurement. And then if you go, that's the same thing for general, CALPIP general. That's the score equivalent. This one is pretty straightforward because you score almost the same thing for all of them. That's why it's bad. If you get it, it's parallel. So it's easy to measure in this sense, right? It's a bit tricky here because they are not same score requirement for all the language areas that's been language test areas. Now, this PTE core works in bands. So you need to fit into the bands in the same way that you look at it in IELTS. That's how you look at it here as well that I explained earlier on. In TEF, it's all a different ball game, right? So we're based on equivalent Asian score, which is test score chart of test taken before September 2029. That's why I told you that for most of them, for most of the countries that I know, we do all of those. So you can read the note here and see how you apply. TCF Canada has a band that you look to fall into in all of this category. So it's important that you know three things here. It is general training you need to write. Then you need to aim to get high because for every criteria or point criteria, you are aiming to get the maximum if you can. For others, they might have been predetermined. For example, you already know it's only BSc, you have a master's or diploma. Those ones, it takes maybe 4 years for you to improve your score, or 2 years or thereabout. But these ones are the ones you can do just by writing an exam. For age is fixed. You can't reduce your age, you can't increase your age. It's fixed. So these are one of those opportunities for you to really increase your point and brighten your chances in the pool if you are doing express entry, or for SINP uh, um, for you to be nominated in the province, especially. So this is very simple. If you need to ask any question, please type in the comment below and ask. I'll be able to give you clarity on that. Now, listen, there is a calculator where we can calculate the scores. CLB NLC calculator, just in case you don't know how to capture it in the way I've explained here on this table. You don't know how to use it to get what your score will be. So I've also been able to provide this to you, find this out for you so that you can use the calculator. So you put your exact score here. So I just assume this. So let's assume you score 8 here, you score seven here. You just pick it. Maybe I'm not 7 here, and you pick say you score 6.5, and then in writing you score 7. If you say calculate my CLB, it tell you so your CLB is 8. So if you check how it has done it, this is not exactly what is there, but you can see the relationship there, right? If you come here, you'll be able to see the relationship. You will see that in the score here, sorry, in the score here, you have listening, for example, 8.0. If you come here, you will see that the requirement for listening here is 8.0 and it's 7.5 here, right? So what is your list number? That's where you want to see, like the score here. The list here is 6.5 speaking. So 6.5 speaking puts you somewhere here, meaning that no, your lowest score will influence which rank you'll be. Since you didn't pick 7 here, it will come to this place, right? So it's so painful that because in it is where you have it can sorry in speaking. Sorry, I was checking for reading. So in speaking, so you come to where speaking is 6.5. Well, it's still 8. You can see that it's under 8. Speaking 6.5 because then that's not the only place to land, right? You need to also be sure that you meet others. But it's the first place to start with. So you know that at least you can be here. Because if you now did not meet, for example, in listening you got 7, you cannot claim this category again. You need to go to the category under if you are using this table. But good enough, this video I've been able to also provide an easier link. I'll put the link there for you in the description where you'll be able to put your exact score and click this calculator. It will show you the CLB 8. And I hope this is very useful to you for how to register for the IELTS registration. It differs from country to country. IELTS as a site, I provided the link in my initial video where I shared the link to say these are the places where you can go to get uh, it will tell you IELTS as a site, and it will tell you where exactly it is from each of your country. Like you can see, the world most trusted. This is IELTS site, for example. Take a test. Now, some countries have IELTS, some have the other languages, depending on. Some have both languages, and in some countries have two bodies. Representative doing IELTS. For like Nigeria, the British Council does, and I think there's another body that started later also to run IELTS. So whichever way you want. So like if you come to the IELTS test now, if you say take IELTS, right, you can see what the it takes you into where you need to know how what you want to write, whether you want to write it online or in person computer, right, on paper. All of those things have their results. So you don't just want to come here and register because it will always direct you to your country. Yeah, so you are in there now, logging in as an individual here. So if you want this test, you can book it. Let's assume this is okay by you. You book the test. Now that you are logging, you cannot book a test for a child under the age of 11. If your child is 18 or over, please ask them to register for themselves. So you need to say myself, and then you fill information about yourself. You put your number there, you put your postal, see, date of birth. These are compulsory field for you. You choose the month and year, family name, your contact number. You agree to that. Um, you say where you live. You want to identify how they will contact you. You save and continue. At the end, it will take you to your payment stage. There are 5 steps to it that you complete and you make the payment. And the next thing is for you to prepare. Our advice will give you time, right? Don't pick the date closest to you except you have been preparing for the exam before now. Otherwise, give it a time depending on your how much time you have to prepare, right? And there are also centers that really teach IELTS, right? Or you pay and you go to classes for classes rather, and you are coached on how to pass. There are centers around. I'm not advertising because I've not been paid to do so, but you can look for them around your locations for now. Yeah. Thank you.